It's a good idea to record your guitar without any effects and add effects in the mixing process, unless you have a signature guitar sound that you know you will not change. For that reason, I recorded this lead guitar part totally dry, that is without any effects. So now we have total freedom. But before we start working on the sound, let's fix a couple of timing problems. Remember, you cannot have an awesome mix if you don't address the issues in your raw material. Double-click on the audio clip. Open it in a new window. Go to Hit Points. Now Cubase has detected the hit points in this recording. Click Create Warp Markers and go to Audio Warp tab, enable Free Warp. Now I will play this recording and stop whenever I hear a timing problem, but since the cursor will return to its starting position, I will first take care of that. Go to Preferences, Transport, and disable Return to Start Position on Stop. Click OK. So now when I stop playing, the cursor will remain right there. Let's zoom in a bit more. Enable Snap, and here we go. Yep, this one is coming in a bit late, so I can drag it like so. When I drag this, it's also affecting the note that comes before that, so I will add another warp marker here, so this one remains constant. I will just drag this to the front. The same thing here. Sounding much better. Actually, Cubase has misplaced this warp marker here. It's supposed to be closer to this hit point. Let me zoom in and actually insert one right here. Yep, this is much tighter. Let's listen to this again from the start, this time with the metronome, so we can have a reference against which we can see the timing issues. In order to turn on the metronome, all you need to do is hit C on your keyboard, like so. Yep, now we're good to go. Let's close this window and start working on the sound. We will use Amp Rack again, just like we did for the rhythm guitars. Go to Inserts, Distortion, Amp Rack. Now you can play with the presets here, and there are some really good ones, but in order to teach you how to use this plugin, I will start with an empty Amp Rack. Let's go to the Amplifiers tab first. These are all modeled after famous guitar amplifiers, but they don't use the actual name of the amplifier because they are trademarks, and apparently Steinberg have not signed licensing deals to use the actual names. But the faces of the amplifiers give us a clear indication of which amp is being modeled. If you are a guitar player, you probably know what these are, and if you're not, feel free to experiment till you find one that suits your music. I'll go with Plexi Lead. This is a modeling of some classic Marshall amps, and as the name suggests, this is a good choice for lead guitar sounds like the one we have here. I will raise the gain here to get distortion and turn down the fader on this track so that the guitar doesn't jump out of your speakers. Now let's go to the Cabinets tab. Cabinet is the case that houses the speakers, and speakers are an important part of the electric guitar sound. You can combine any amplifier with any cabinet here. If you click here on Link Amplifier and Cabinet Choice, it will give you the cabinet that normally goes with the amp you have chosen. So let's do that. Next, go to the Microphones tab. Generally, condenser mics give a fuller, rounder sound, whereas dynamic mics usually lead a more pointy, narrow, focused sound. Feel free to experiment. I'll try the condenser mic in close position and off-center from the speaker. Now let's add some virtual foot pedals to spice things up. Go to Pre-Effects. This is where a guitar player would place his or her effects pedals right before the amp. I want to try the Octaver. This takes my guitar sound and shifts it down an octave and 2 octaves. You can set their relative levels here. Here's my direct sound. Here's an octave below and here's 2 octaves below. 2 octaves below is turned all the way down, and for good reason. It usually sounds weird and we use it as a special effect only. Let's turn this on. Sounds good. I'll turn the octave down a bit lower. Now that we're spicing things up, let's add an overdrive pedal here after the octave pedal. The higher your input into the amplifier, the more distortion and sustain it will give you. So I will use this to, as the name says, overdrive the input of my virtual amplifier. To do that, I will crank the level on this as high as it goes. It's also adding some distortion of its own set by the drive knob here. Sounds good, but right now this guitar sound is still two-dimensional. How about adding some depth by adding delay? Let's try that. Go to Post Effects. Here we can place effects on the sound picked up by our virtual microphone. You can see the signal flow here in the Configuration tab. This is where we are adding the delay right now. So go to Post Effects, select Delay, turn it on. This is a simple delay with only 3 controls. The first one controls how often the delays or the echoes will occur. If this LED is off, you set the delay time in milliseconds. But we usually want the delays to occur in musically meaningful times, meaning we want to synchronize the delays to the tempo of our song. You can do that easily by activating this LED. Now you can set the delay time in musical note values, which makes more sense in this setting. I want the delays to come in on half notes. The next one, called Feedback, controls how many delays will occur after the dry sound. If you set it to 0, you will only hear 1 echo. If you set it to maximum, it will repeat indefinitely. So on that scale, I'll set this to around 15%. Too many repetitions can make your mix muddy. Finally, Mix lets you adjust the balance between the dry signal and the delays that we are adding. So if you set this to 0, you will get the dry sound only, and if you set it to 100, you will get only delays. Let's leave it like this and see how it sounds. This noise is normal. It's a side effect of the distortion that we're adding. There's an easy way to clean it up and it's called gate. Let's add a gate before the delay. Gate is a very simple effect. It listens to the signal on a track. If the signal falls below a threshold, which you set here, it mutes the track. If the signal goes above the threshold, it lets the audio pass. We need to set this threshold so that it's above the noise produced by our virtual amplifier. Right now it's at minus 60 decibels. Let's see if it's muting the noise. You can actually raise this to about minus 40 dB. Yep, now the noise is gone. Normally the gate remains closed and opens only when we go above the threshold. Now why did I place it before the delay and not after it? You got 5 seconds to think about it. If gate came after the delay, it could chop off some of the echoes coming from the delay, and I didn't want that. Congratulations if you got that correct. Let's listen to our lead guitar in context. I'll add the drums and the bass as well, and the rhythm guitars as well. I like the sound, but it's too loud compared to other instruments. Let's turn it down by a couple of decibels.